11th November. What's the date today? The
11th or 11th?
My goodness. Anyway, I don't have it in front of me. Today we have another episode which talks about Australia, and this is not a topic that is normally spoken of by Mal Squaw, and in fact Mal Squaw has never said anything directly on this before, but looking at because this is a topic that has been mentioned by the new minor parties that we have, I thought that we should really look a little bit closer at this, and I've heard of it. At first, I just thought, this sounds really bizarre. Is this conspiracy theory? But since it's been mentioned by minor parties, it can't be that much of a conspiracy theory. So let me introduce my special guest today. I have two persons. I have Bernie and I have China Doll with me today. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Good.
Hello.
So as usual, I always start my session talking about Mal Squaw, what Mal Squaw said. Like I said before, Mal Squaw actually has never mentioned anything in this respect on this particular topic, other than the closest thing I can find is that he said between May, say around May 2022 to end of 2022, it will be a very turbulent time for the whole entire world. There'll be economic meltdown, there'll be vaccine crisis, political upheaval, and possible anti-Chinese sentiment. Now, really, if we were to talk about economic meltdown, it has already started today. Why I said today is because Germany, DMAC, has already filed a default notice against Evergrande. And this default notice sent each coin, Himalaya coin, up by 25%. It went from $20 to $24. And I think at one stage it even reached $27. So as what we have predicted before, Himalaya exchange, Himalaya coin will be the only safe haven in during this very, very turbulent economic time, global financial crisis. But at the same time, we also have the vaccine crisis. So when people are trying to wrap their head around economic meltdown, vaccine crisis, we are going to have another political upheaval. Because why that is so is because our government brought it on themselves. We have Dan Andrews, we have all the premiers come in very hard with the COVID mandate, mandating everybody to take the death jab. No job, no jab, no job. And that in itself is inviting just as strong an opposition from people who may not necessarily understand what this death jab is about, but people just don't like to be told that you have to do a certain thing, especially it involves their own health, their own decision, their own body. So we're going to see political upheaval. It is starting. We have already seen some places day after day, some places week after week of on the street protests. And we also have yesterday and today, we have nationwide strike of people who are participating. I don't know how the CBD looks like, Perth CBD looks like, China Doll. How does Perth CBD look like? Is it quiet like yesterday or not?
It was very quiet. It's been this week. Usually when I go to the car park in the morning, like by 8:30, the car park will be full. But now by 8:30, the car park is still half empty. And around town, I'm seeing a lot of worried looks for those who sell lunches. I think, yeah, I think it could be because as the big corporations are following government's mandate, people are being laid off or striking because of the mandate, because I think by 10th of November they must have at least have the first dose, I think. Yeah.
10th of November, that's today, isn't it?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay. So that's where we are at. But today's topic is specifically on Australia. We want to ask a question: whether Australia is a corporation, and what is the repercussion if it is, and what does it mean for real estate owners? And Australia as a corporation, it was first brought to me, other than me having seen a person talking about it on Facebook. It was also brought to me my attention by a China doll. I'm just wondering if China doll can just open up on what she understands about what the minor parties are talking about, Australia being a corporation and not a sovereign nation per se. Yeah, I hand my floor over to China doll.
a few months back, I attended a session just out of curiosity, and I first heard about the common law, and I thought that is a bit odd. Why would Australia be talking about the common law? And apparently it goes back to God Whitlam time in the 70s, that how he did something. In fact, if we look back in history, God Whitlam had a very short governance period. He was forced to resign. And the background of it is because he wasn't a good prime minister. That was what I understood then. As now, with the COVID development and how people are standing up for their rights, some constitutional lawyers are pushing Australia to go back to this common law. So this common law is just apparently they have two types of law in the world: the law of the land and the law of the sea. The law of the land is basically, they refer as common law, more biblical, I think. And the law of the sea is more of capitalism. See, like the sea represents money flow, just like water, they flow from one source to another. So that's how I understood it then. Does that have I lost you?
No.
Are you following? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. I think Bernie can add on to that. This law of the sea and law of the land.
Yeah, look, I'm still learning a bit about this too, Bindi, and get my head around it as well. It's like been the Labor Prime Ministers. It's been the Labor Prime Ministers. It's been Bob Hawke. It's been Paul Keating has come in and restructured the Constitution. I'm still like, we've got the Queen. We're a part of a Commonwealth country. Yet we've got some other constitutions having underplay under this Commonwealth. And I understand that we have land, but we don't own the land underneath. We're like, what is happening there? I think going forward, we really need to find out what's happened with the change of the Constitution and how to massage it back to what we want.
Yes, and also I've also seen clips where people say that the way that the law is now, you own you actually don't own your property. You own the mortgage, but you don't own the property. And I think China Doll can probably elaborate a little bit about that.
I just want to give a bit of background during God Whitlam time. How it all came about is when I go to sort of take part in protests these days, I saw a lot of people carrying a red flag instead of the usual Australian flag with the blue color. So so those are the people that are advocating for the common law to be brought into brought to revert back to common law. And what happened during Lord Whitlam's time is apparently he signed a treaty called the Lima Treaty, in which Australia, that used to be self-sufficient, have to give up 30% of its manufacturing capability. Okay, so from interaction with Tony's family, his grandfather used to be in the 70s. His grandfather used to be the accountant for an Amco ice cream factory, and that factory has to close. And he was the last accountant. Apparently, it was a household name, making good ice cream. But over the years, we have seen a lot of sort of like Australian brand being sold. For example, like our biscuits,
Arnott's.
Yeah, our famous Arnott's being sold to US, and then and in fact, they sort of say that as the treaty say is 30% of decrease in manufacturing capability. In fact, the true cost is about 90%. In Adelaide, they have seen Toyota being closed down as well over the years. And we have seen other household brand like Dick Smith. That's the other thing that Dick Smith used to sort of like jump up and down about, criticizing this kind of giving Australia away to manufacturing, like decreasing the manufacturing power. But at the same time, not only did we give up manufacturing capability, agriculture as well, we are forced to import food and vegetables from overseas in exchange. And now we are seeing, now I can see a similar cycle in a different name. It's called Climate Change Bill that Scott Morrison is pushing. Yeah. So if we do not stand up and revert this country, I think Australia has no hope. Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Bernie?
I think too what this meant, like, there's a lot of things that chap, like Vegemite, Tim Tams, Arnott's, Arrowroot biscuits. There's a lot of brands that are icon Australian. And you're right, they've been taken over by American conglomerates, British conglomerates, even farms. There's a lot of properties now owned by, same again, British, US, even sugar mills. All the sugar mills in Queensland, they went through a tough time about 5 or 6 years ago. The price was really low. Anyway, a lot of Singapore companies come in. Wilmot is one of the major companies, bought most of the sugar mills. So before the Australian farmers owned the sugar mills, now when you got another major company owning the sugar mill, they determine what the price the farmer will get per tonne to your CCS. Same as the beef industry. There's big feedlots been taking over. And then also your cotton stations. Cubby Station was taken over by a cotton conglomerate. But I think it's about 51% was the Chinese component, 49 was Australian. So I'm not too sure about that. But the thing is, with Australia, you know, when you go through tough times in agriculture, droughts, low commodity prices, we're not supported by the government. There's no tariffs. All over the world, Europe, US, you're supported. So in some respect, it's Australia's renowned for one of the best farmers in the world, and they just got to stand on their own 2 feet. But it's not a level playing field with the rest of the world. So in some ways, they need a little bit of protection. And why do we have to bring fruit and veggies into this country? Like, yeah, okay, if there's products that we're not in season, that's fine. But as long as it's a good grade, good product, good quality, etc., that is compatible to what we've got in Australia. But back to where this, like, it's everything. We're exporting, we're bringing all our manufacturing from overseas, like as in China, as in Thailand for your cars now, was Japan and Korea for a lot of earth-moving equipment, etc. So, you know, the problem is also too is trade unions have put prices, our CPI index, our living costs are so high now that it's very hard to compete with other countries. So what has happened? Well, you've got the Labor parties, the Labor governments come in and change things to make it a lot harder for business to employ people. So that's another thing as well. It's making Australia a lot harder to not be so competitive.
Now, the thing I'm optimistic about is Mount Scott has mentioned that after the vaccine crisis, there'll be 4 superpowers in the world. Do you know who they are, Bernie?
Not up to speed with it, but most likely will be China, US. Is that right?
Oh, I can answer that. I can answer that.
Okay, China.
Okay. US, Australia, Turkey, and was
Brazil.
it? Oh, Brazil. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Brazil, not China.
No.
Surprise.
China is on the way out. That's what Mount Scott has been going on and on and on about, because China's, remember I was saying, Evergrande, they have defaulted, and Evergrande is only the 2nd biggest developer in China. The 4 big developers, they are all bankrupt. And Evergrande in itself can bring down the world. Now there are 4 of them. That's the reason why Mount Scott keeps saying, in essence, CCP is finished. In essence, it's just that, you know, metaphysically they are still there. But in essence, because the economy is in complete shambles, unfortunately, they are bringing down the entire world with them, and all the pension funds, all the pensioners, their pension is their pensions are all completely wiped clean, and that's the reason why he kept saying about anti-Chinese sentiment. That's how it comes about. But back to what we are talking about, Australia being a corporation. If indeed Australia is a corporation, then it's it's, I don't know, the repercussion of it, you know. Then you have a CEO, you have, you know, who are we? We are just employees. I don't know.
We are just about in the machinery. We are just about that keep turning out the machinery, so they're sucking our tax. But the thing is, if there must be a reason why this common law is being pushed, because if this government, since God Whitlam, deemed to be illegal, we can void everything that they do, can't we?
That's right. And all the
acts. It's just my simple thinking. So that means all the debt that they have created, we don't need to pay, because we have hopefully we can get out of it, or declare ourselves bankrupt and brought a new one.
But don't you think things will change when the Queen dies? Because we're part of a Commonwealth, and we don't really want Charles to be our king, be part of our Commonwealth. So don't you think there's going to be a change in what we want. Instead of being this monarchy, we've got more of a republic. And therefore, okay, we can change this, what has happened in the past, what these governments have done. We change that what we want. We get rid of these governments that we have now, these three main frontlinings, Labor, Liberal, Greens. Throw them out and start again. New broom, sweep, sweep. Is that when you start reorganising all these laws and cleanse out what's happened and expose what's happening as well? Because before this, we didn't know about this. We were just sailing along, working away. We didn't know what, like finding out about all this pedophilia, finding out about all these Freemasons, how they're controlling the world, how the media has put their slant on what they want in how to hypnotise people in what they've got to do. You know, so all this has got to be start again. And I think there's going to be a pivot here. You go one direction. If you want to operate in this, what you have now, it's actually fear, it's greed, it's control. Or you go another way. You know, we stand on our own 2 feet. We have our own spirit. We stand up for ourselves. We're also doing this for our children because we know what the what they've done in the past. So we are now going to be statesmen for a whole new country. I don't know what it's going to look like, but you're saying that Australia, US, Brazil, and UK are going to be the four major. Turkey. Okay, I'm very impressed. So, because Australia's got a lot of resources, you know, your iron ore, your coal, even agriculture. It's and I say Brazil as well. They've got a lot of resources as well. So that's probably why these countries are going to be boom times.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can see definitely Brazil must be because of their food production. I can see that Australia will be great because of our mining minerals. I can see US will be great because of the technology, which Malsco has emphasized lots of time. But as far as talking about Australia being a corporation and all this sort of thing, there has to be, remember, I have always talked about 6% of the people can change any nation. The 6%, we need to band together, work together. We, whistleblower movement, we have to work together with the minor parties and bring changes. And when we were talking about these things that people have packaged together behind our backs, labor and all this with Bob Hawke and Paul Keating and etc. For the normal people, Bob Hawke's era was an era where Australians are proud of being Australians. Is that right? Because the economy was booming.
Because he was a bit of a bloke, you know, drinking beers and chasing women. And, you know, he was also a trade union official before he was a prime minister. So he represented the workers. He stood up for the workers, and he's a bit of a bulldog as well. When he went to town to bat for the workers, he did go in hard. He had a lot of people following. That's how he virtually be a prime minister.
And the America Cup to top it off.
What's that?
The America Cup. Remember?
Yes,
Australia won the American Cup.
Yes. So, you know, he did it. Look, but I think the problem is also it's a bit socialist, and it's always tainted with destruction. It's always put the country in debt, and the next government comes along, the Liberal Party will find money again and restructure the damage that they did every time. Whether it's federal government, even state government, they do the same thing. The state government will spend money on useless stuff and run it into the ground, and then the Liberal Party will come back in and rebuild and find surplus in their budgets. So, look, yeah, he was an icon. He was a bloke, and that's probably why he was popular.
So, but coming back to this thing, real estate is always closest to everybody's heart, especially Chinese. If it is true that the law is such that when Australia is a corporation, you don't own the real estate, but you own a mortgage. Just imagine those people who have multiple real estate, those people in Sydney, you know, slogging their entire life to pay off for the house. Just imagine the repercussion of that. I think this is definitely a topic that is worth everybody digging in and understanding. And I think if enough people understand what it means, there'll be such an upheaval, political upheaval, and things will change. And
do you think there's going to be a devaluation of that, Bindi, because of that? Like the devaluation? Okay, with property, you've got to have return on investment, like in commercial, it's a lot higher than residential. So, you know, we know the demand's not going to be there in the future because of less people. So, you know, what's the big deal only having real estate then? Like, it's been known, okay, if you've got this property and that, whatever your portfolio, you're rich. Well, so what? That's ego, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. But that's how it is in Australia. People look for negatively geared properties to lose money on. You know, the entire tax system is screwed up. And my understanding is Australia, one party think that they can reduce the universal tax rate of 2%. Is that right, China Doll? Hello? I think she has dropped off. She's on silent. She's on silent.
Okay.
China Doll, you're on silent.
So Bindi, even like everyone has a dream of having their own house because you can do, like, you love it more than a rental property in that respect as well. So you're still going to have that, you know, that energy that you want to have your own house, you want to have your own garden, because with a landlord, what if you get kicked out? They want to sell a property. So there's always going to be an energy that you want to own your own property because then you're safe, you know. And now what they're pushing is to be vaxxed if you want to have a rental property. Well, you know,
how much is that? I mean, I have only seen one ad that says that, but have you seen other ads about needing to be vaxxed? I've
seen there's some stuff coming through in Queensland about that, but I don't know. I really need to talk to actually a couple of real estate agents. I know a few actually. I need to talk to them about that next week and find out how strict is a ruling of rental properties that you've got to be vaxxed to get an application in. So that's worth considering as well.
I will claim it's discrimination.
It is, but it's also coercion.
It is discrimination under the Landlord Act, like Rental Act, because if we can't sort of discriminate people on racial, how can they say that we are wax and unvaxxed? Yeah.
Or are you saying you cannot discriminate people based on whether they have disability or not, right?
That's right.
So anyway, we have our time is up. This is a very deep topic which requires a lot of research and understanding. And this session is by no means completely informative. It is meant to be a teaser for all of us to dig a little bit more. If you live in Australia, whether you are a permanent resident, a citizen, or even just on a temporary visa intending to live on a long term in Australia, all of us should dig in. Never say that because you are permanent residents, you do not have voting rights, you do not care about anything, you just want to fill a coffer, you just want to work, breathe a fresh air and not care about anything else. Because the day comes when you become a citizen and you are required to vote, your vote is very important. Every time the politicians mess around with us by changing the voting system or even changing the boundary and all this sort of thing, they are messing with us. We need to be the boss and not to be pushed around. We need to get our head wrapped around that the politicians are not our boss. They don't tell us what to do. We tell them what we want. So whenever there's a survey, don't just fill the survey according to how they want it. I showed everybody what I did when they did a survey. I tell them no vax, no COVID vax mandate, no this, no that. Whereas the standard form they have is, oh, what is more important to you? Is it tax? Is it job? Is it environment? I don't care. I don't want to fill their form. I want to tell them what I want to tell them. So we all have to come out of the box that people have created for us. We need to stand up, we need to speak up, and we need to put our, it's not going to be 2 cents anymore, Bernie, right? We have more than 2 cents now.
Yeah. And things, Bindi, it's opened my eyes up as well recently about this as well. I'm learning, and it's probably going to be more of a stimulus to go and have a dig and find more information as well, because it's very interesting how this is all going.
Yeah, China Doll, do you have any last word that you want to say before we wrap up? We're already 4 minutes up.
Yes, I just want to tease that there's a politician that says that the law for the last 50 years in Australia has been invalid, and he is a former senator, and yeah, so there must be a reason that he's saying that.
Yep.
So
what is his name?
Next time.
What is his name?
Rod Culleton. RODCULLETON. I think he was the one that filed a court order in Broome today for the chief health officer of WA that was in the group.
Okay, good. We need to take all we need to sue all our politicians and health bureaucrats, all of us. We're just waiting for somebody to be leading the class action, and all of us will then pile in as usual.
We will.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, our time is up. I'll come back next week and talk about another session of the flip side. It is more likely than not I will continue to explore this topic more as we give ourselves more time to explore, and I hope to have maybe another guest, maybe 3 or 4 guests, so that we can have more of a forum, because when more people are together, we will be able to tease out the response and the answers and the solution of where we want to go from here, because we don't want to just do a program for the sake of doing a program. We want to build, from height to height, and we want to bind ourselves with all the forces that have all the same vision and us, and march forward to our destination, our destiny for Australia to be the 4 big superpowers in the world. How you like that, Bernie?
Yeah, very interesting. Thing is, like half.
Yep. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. We have very good videos that we have picked for you to view after the program closes. Stay tuned and enjoy the program. Over to you, Flower.
熟悉的字眼，却不知不觉离我越来越遥远。曾经那个意气风发的少年，为了生存只能拼命挣钱。财富是他们画下的大饼，虚幻背后发现全都是陷阱。各种经济暴雷，房价崩得稀碎，抬起头前路一片漆黑。Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, let's fly to the moon. Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, let's fly to the moon. Let's fly to the moon. Let's fly to the moon. 安全对前沿加密技术出手，但你的财富没人能夺走。稳定币、浮动币设计天下无双，还有20%黄金挂钩，摧毁不停压榨你的机器，从此不再做金钱的奴隶。洗脸处的大门永远展开向你，前途光明就在洗币。Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, let's fly to the moon. Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, let's fly to the moon. Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, let's fly to the moon. Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, let's fly to the moon. 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 Let's fly to the moon.
Take down the CCP, take down the CCP, take down the CCP, 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 take down the 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 CCP, 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 take down the CCP, take down the CCP, take down the CCP.
Take down the CCP, take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Let me tell you what I've been through, baby. Lived a life that was hella unfair. Seen things that been driving me crazy. In a country where the leaders don't care. Didn't think we had the courage to change it. Tore it down and they weren't prepared. Everything that they kept us from saying. Now we talking and they better be scared. Take from us. Tell us what and who to love. Swear I finally had enough. It's time to rise above. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP.
enough for me to give a fuck. Had to tell them and they try to keep it on the hush. Middle finger up, turn into a fist. They wanna keep the poor so they never rich. If you wanna see the future, look into the past. Been a century of silence, we gon' take it back. I'm just stating facts, tell you how it is. Ain't no way to change shit if we don't resist.
Take from us. Tell us what and who to love. Swear I finally had enough. It's time to rise above. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Communism's dead to me because it killed our families.
这是你我维护正义的必须，这是你我维护正义的必须。Take down CCP.
Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Communism's dead to me because it killed our families.
你完了，共产党！你完了，共产党！你完了，共产党！你完了。